In this video, I'm going to take a brief look at the TNT Voice Executor from Audified. This is just going to be a very quick look at this plugin because it's very easy to use, it's quick and dirty, and it gets the job done. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, it's a complete replacement for all these different modules, which you'll see on the right side. We have EQ, we have a high pass filter, we have a gate, a compressor, we have distortion. We have all of these different modules built into this plugin, but we can't control them. If I click this, nothing happens. I can't even disable it. So, what's it good for? It's good for people who aren't very familiar with audio engineering. It's built for people who need to quickly get a good sound. And really, that's about it. Advanced level engineers will be bored of this plugin, will be frustrated with this plugin because we only have really these three controls are the main ones. Input, we got output, and then finally the drive setting, which is basically like a mix knob. But anyway, I wanted to show you all this plugin because some of you out there may need it for whatever reason. And I do think that it actually works pretty well. So, first of all, the presets are right here. Unfortunately, and this is probably the thing I like least about this plugin, there's no easy way to click these presets. For example, if I were able to just press my left and right arrows, or up and down, or even use my mouse wheel to go up and down, or if there were just left and right arrows right here to click to go through the different presets, that would make this plugin a lot better. That's why I can't give it a full 10 out of 10, you know? So I had to click, menu, there, click, folder. That's how you have to get through all these different presets. So anyway, the most important thing for the newbies especially is this wrench right here. Click this, click the user manual, and it briefly explains all the controls. It's a very short manual, as it should be. And really, that's about it. This is the most important page in the manual. If you don't know what any of these terms mean, I'll show you on this. So actually, this is a video that I recorded earlier this week, and I'm going to enable the effect. What I'm going to do is play this file and listen to what it sounds like. The Pultec Equalizer, perhaps one of the most famous pieces of audio gear. Okay, so the first thing I notice is there's noise on the left channel, so I'm going to get rid of that channel. So we only have one track of the clean one. The Pultec Equalizer, perhaps one of the most famous pieces of audio gear. While the audio is playing, you'll notice that these LED lights come on. What I'm going to do is increase the input knob until it gets where it's just hitting the yellow here and there. Now, the other way to do this is to go into this services menu, the wrench, and find calibration. And then at this point, when I play this, I'll drag this slider to the left because it's quieter than it should be. And that'll basically do the same thing. The Pultec Equalizer, perhaps one of the most famous pieces of audio gear around. Definitely as famous as the Neve 1073. Why? Because it is famous for its ability to make things sound really, really good. And it has just... So when you're done, hit the OK. And what I'm going to do at this point is just flip through these different presets and listen for which one sounds the best. The Pultec Equalizer, perhaps one of the most famous pieces of audio gear around. Definitely as famous as the Neve 1073. Why? Because it is famous for its ability to make things sound really, really good. I actually like this one. I'll come back to this, but for right now, this is the one I like the most. The Pultec Equalizer, perhaps one of the most famous pieces of audio gear. The Pultec Equalizer, perhaps one of the most famous pieces of audio gear around. Definitely as famous as the Neve 1073. Why? Because it is famous for its ability to make things sound really, really good. And it has just four basic controls. It's a tube equalizer, it's a passive design, and it can shape your sound signals, your audio signals, into something that you never thought possible. So in this video, I'm going to go through a bunch of different popular Pultec Equalizer clones in software form and compare them to the mixanalog.com hardware equivalent, which itself is a clone, but hey, it's hardware. Let's see how they all compare. The thing you got to remember is that not all Pultecs are the same, or Pultec. I'm probably saying that wrong. Anyway, the bottom line is you have to try all the different plugins out to see which one is the best one for your taste, because they all sound a little bit different, and compare them to the mixanalog.com hardware equivalent, which itself is a clone, but hey, it's hardware. Let's see how they all compare. The thing you got to remember is that not all Pultecs are the same. Okay, so the one I liked was Rap BG. And compare them to the mixanalog.com hardware equivalent, which itself is a clone, but the Pultec Equalizer, perhaps one of the most famous pieces of audio gear around. Nah, it sounds too warm, too muddy. So I'm gonna find, I think, one of the vocal ones. I think the first vocal one was also good, or I mean the first speech one. The Pultec Equalizer, perhaps one of the most famous pieces of audio gear around. Definitely as famous as the Neve 1073. Why? Because it is famous for its ability to make things sound really, really good. And it has just four basic controls. It's a tube equalizer, it's a passive design, and it can shape your sound signals, your audio signals, into something that... Okay, well this one sounds muddy, but I will take muddy over sibilant, and really that's another thing that I don't like about this plugin, is that it does not, to my knowledge, have a built-in de-esser. That's the harshness being taken out, and that plugin doesn't have this. Otherwise, I would choose one of the other ones, because that actually sounds clearer to me, but unfortunately clear equals sibilant, which actually the microphone that's built into my cell phone has a harsh frequency on the channel that doesn't have the noise on it. So it's like, yeah, you can't win it all. I don't know why a flagship phone has noise on one of the microphones, but ask Samsung. Anyway, look, let me show you two other pieces of audio that I like this on. I tested it on, I should say. And again, it's not perfect, but it's quick and dirty. It gets the job done. It doesn't get it done perfectly, but it's better than without it. So here's before.
Hope you never try to take mine. I shoot it like Kobe from the baseline.
And after. Oops, I forgot to turn the master down.
Hope you never try to take mine. I shoot it like Kobe from the baseline. Hope you never try to take mine. I shoot it like Kobe.
Levels are not matched. I understand that, but I'm telling you, there's EQ. Look at all the stuff that's on it. There's no way that even if I level match this, it would sound the same.
Hope you never try to take mine. I shoot it like Kobe from the baseline. Them bitches heard I'm balling through the grapevine. I crushed the grapes on that grapevine to make wine. Yeah, and I still...
Okay, and then on this final one, I like the wide setting. So I actually used two of these. One for mostly EQ and compression, and the other one for a spatial effect. So this is before.
Days like this, I want to drive away. Days like this, I want to drive away.
And that's another thing that I don't really like about this plugin. Sometimes the gate is too aggressive, so you really have to be careful about setting levels. If you don't bring your input up so that it is, you know, almost touching the yellow and sometimes touching the yellow, the gate will mess with your audio. So you have to be very careful about that. That's one thing. I wish you could disable the gate, but yeah.
Days like this, I want to drive away. Hang my bags and watch your shadows fade.
Now it does sound a little muffled right now. That's because when I was choosing the presets for this one, I already had this one on. Now you'll hear it with everything on.
Days like this, I want to drive away. Hang my bags and watch your shadows fade.
So yeah, I really like that what that did to the vocal, because it just made it bigger. It made it a little bit wider. I think in a mix, this would sound good. And again, not perfect. You're better off learning all these different processors, but if you're brand new to mixing, if you're struggling to mix, this plugin might come in handy. So I don't fully recommend it, but for what it is, you know, it's kind of like recommending a bass amp to a regular guitar player. You know, it's like, well, they don't really need it. So if you don't need it, obviously I don't recommend it. But if you are in the market for something like this, an easy to use plugin that gets, I would say, good results, better than decent, then try out this plugin and have better audio. Oh, and by the way, I have a coupon code. This plugin can be had for 20% off the normal price. I don't know if you can use that when it's on sale, but during the normal pricing, you can get 20% off, and you just need to use the coupon code, which I'll put on screen right now, along with in the video description and in the pinned comment. So thanks to Audified for making that happen. And in this case, I did not take a NFR license. I just wanted to demo this plugin myself. So, and I have used this plugin before on my own voiceover. Actually, I'm using it right now, along with some de-essing. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching.